Hey folks, Phil from the future here. If you're on a limited amount of time, I recommend skipping round 1. I considered not even putting it in the video because my opponent was playing so slowly and I spent most of the match on my phone. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today's video is sponsored by PlayEDH, the largest webcam Discord server for finding EDH games, and we'll take a look at them a little bit later on. I got a dealer's choice donation deck list from Nicholas S, and I found something pretty neat in the 5.0 deck list dump that I think is going to be a lot of fun to play until we run into a meltdown. We are going to attempt to play Hardened Scales in Legacy. If one or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature you control, that many +1 counters are put on it instead. And we have a similar effect in the form of Zabaz, the Glimmerwasp, but it only does it for modular triggers. So this creature has modular, as does Archbound Worker and Archbound Ravager. The way the modular ability works is it enters the battlefield with +1/+1 counters, and when it dies, you can put it on a new artifact creature. And Archbound Ravager in particular allows you to sacrifice artifacts and do very cute things with your modular triggers. Our overall goal is to put a very large number of counters on either a Hangerback Walker or Walking Ballista and kind of spiral those out of control. We have a tiny bit of card selection and a tiny bit of card advantage in the form of Esper Sentinel as well as Sylvan Library. This is sort of a neat idea in terms of deck building, but one of the things that I've felt really hard in Legacy recently is that if you are playing a medium power like artifact brew, you are getting hit so hard by cards like Meltdown, Serenity, Force of Vigor, Null Rods that people are putting in their decks right now because 8 cast is doing very, very well in challenges and it's pretty popular in leagues as well. The sideboard doesn't have anything fancy, so like here we are playing Celestia Modular Hardened Scales in the Year of our Keranos 2023. Let's see how it goes. If you're new here and you like what you see today, please consider subscribing, and if you're a regular, throw me a like before this video begins. It's the easiest way to support my content for free. Let's battle. Alright, I will be keeping my opening hand here. We are not doing anything cute with this hand. Like, this is just do the Urza Saga thing and hope that it is good enough deck. Okay, how do I feel about giving my opponent a card off Esper Sentinel? That feels necessary to me, because I don't want to take a turn off to just Walking Ballista that creature. I just want to poop constructs everywhere and hope that they kill my opponent. And I think if I'm going down that plan, keeping my construct size as high as possible matters a lot. What are you looking for, Mana Dork? Sure. I don't know exactly what we're playing against here. It is going to be something in that general Maverick ballpark. We are going to have some pretty cool... Are you willing to trade that Esper Sentinel? Not willing to offer the trade. That is a Fiend Artisan. I'll make my construct at end of turn. I don't even remember what this card does. If a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if you had counters on it, put it on this at the beginning of combat on your turn. You can move counters. Okay. I think I don't make a construct with this. I think I'm just floating a mana here. I would like a Mox Opal. Play a Tree of Tales. We'll play Hardened Scales. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, you get to draw your card. Because I need all of this mana to do this. Now enters with 3 counters because of Hardened Scales. I ping Fiend Artisan. I'm not going to get a 3-for-1 anymore. I guess I am. It's just this card instead of onboard bodies. So the situation here is that this gets +1/+1 for each card in my graveyard, creature card in their graveyard. I'll ping Fiend Artisan a second time. Okay. So there's currently 2 things going towards this. That's really awkward. I want to kill this Noble Hierarch. Maybe just let this happen, though. I'm going to ping the Fiend Artisan one more time, just in case. I maybe miss 1 point of damage at their face directly, but on the very off chance that my opponent were to have another pitch endurance there, investing all of my stuff to stop Fiend Artisan and then not actually stopping it would be a huge problem for me. Knight of the Reliquary. That's fine. That's small. Urza Saga. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. Go ahead and do this again. Enters with 3 counters. I can just trade it 1 for 1 with Knight, or I can just ping and deal with Knight in some other capacity later. I think I just trade it 1 for 1 with Knight. Get bit in the butt by a crop rotation. Fine. But Knight tutoring opens up some problematic lines for me. I'll play the Ozolith. Oh, fuck, I forgot about this fucking thing because I was planning on killing it. Gave my opponent a card for borderline no reason. Alright. Horizon Canopy. Oh, they just naturally drew the Collector Roof. That's annoying. It makes my situation much worse. I still think I probably win. Active Urza Saga is really strong. Oh, that's not bad. What's the follow-up? Fiend Artisan. Lose this one. I mean, my play becomes pretty linear. It's battle on in with both of these. And my opponent takes it, and then try to beat them in a fair game. That's unfortunate. I think I don't beat that. Has naturally drawn both of their artifact silver bullets. I literally don't know what the holdup here is. You blow up the construct token and attack me for 6, and I'm dead. Alright, they figured it out. Alright, that was a little frustrating to lose. I would like a little bit extra removal here for this matchup. Is the Ozolith leaves the battlefield? It is leaves the battlefield, so that does work against exiled stuff. I'm going to board out Sylvan Libraries for being slow here. Going to board out Welding Jar. I think a lot of their exile-based removal isn't going to stop. Like, Welding Jar isn't going to save me from everything that they can do. I don't know, maybe I can trim an Ozolith and trim one Archbound Worker or something like that. Alright, we are keeping a hand that will start off on Hardened Scales and try to do some fair things. I'm not sure on which turn I'm going to end up playing the Urza Saga. I am kind of hoping that I just get to Swords to Plowshares and opposing Mana Dork and play Zabaz on my next turn. Alright. Show me the Mana Dork. Awkward one for me. Yep. This is what I mean about the splash hate or other artifact decks being so bad. That's very frustrating. Alright, there's the swords. That's fine. This gives me a chance to remove Esper Sentinel. Okay, sure. I don't really love my mana situation right now. I didn't want to remove Esper Sentinel. I want to play Hangerback Walker. No, I think I'm gonna remove this. Not entirely convinced that it is correct to do so. But I'm kind of hoping my opponent is lower on gas here than they were last game. For the record, I think that's the wrong one to Wasteland. I think you go after a double colored source here. Actually, I think I'm going to be mana efficient and play Hangerback Walker here over Esper Sentinel. Because next turn, I can put a counter on Hangerback Walker while also playing Esper Sentinel if I miss my land drop. Okay, what are we looking at? How bad is it? Pretty bad. Yep. Okay. That is a great draw for me. I think I am going to end up swordsing Plague Engineer rather than playing out Esper Sentinel here. Like, the dream with Esper Sentinel is to put more +1/+1 counters on it to make it good, which I can't really accomplish right now. Yes, that is fine. And then when this thing goes to attack, if it attacks, I'll swords it. Yup. Goodbye. Alright. End of turn. Make constructs. My own turn. Make constructs. Retrofitter Foundry is okay. Shadow Spear is okay. I just want to grab Retrofitter Foundry. It represents a very large amount of damage over time. Send these on in. Alright, after no blocks, I will make another servo here. Fine. Yep. Sure. Alright, what you got going on? The green sun for 2. My opponent is presumably going to go for a collector roof. I'll just try to bash them to death with a construct token and a thopter. That's fine. Yeah. Still worth at least 7 a turn. Do you fly? You don't fly. By being a wasp. Alright, the Reliquary is quite good. That's a 5/5. Fine to go ahead and do this. Free combat. Urza Saga probably is the most threatening thing here. I'm fine attacking in with the construct, given that I have another Urza Saga. If my opponent wants to like fetch and trade Dryad Arbor and Knight for a construct, I'm good with that as of right now. Alright, sure. Okay, it is just a chump block. That is fine as well. My opponent needs to sorcery speed tap Knight if they want to wasteland my Urza Saga and deny me additional tokens. And if they do that, Knight's not fucking around in where they can naturally draw one. Also, I'm playing towards timeout. I'm so bored. Archbound Ravager, not exactly great here. Construct can't currently profitably attack. I am still going to play it out. Got a bit of a mana bottleneck. Alright, you get flying for white. I can't actually activate that though. Ooh. Alright. Now I get to start seeing how bad my opponent's tutor targets are for me. I just need to draw any one of like the 6... Oh, nope, okay. Any one of the removal spells that I boarded in, I remove Collector Roof, and I imagine I have the win on board or very close to it. Or we can just keep drawing like that, that's fine too. At some point I can consider an Alpha Strike to push damage. I just don't think it's good yet. There's a Ravager. I can throw away the Zabaz body if I would like to attempt to put +1/+1 counters on this Thopter. Sure, that's fine. Yep. It's just like a classic Wasteland mistake though. Like, if you have the Wasteland, you don't use it like that. You just use it after you've seen your draw step for your turn. Alright. That is unfortunate timing. My opponent has 3 lockers. 1, 2, 3. They can take an additional 4 damage if I alpha. I don't think I'm interested in that. I don't know, maybe I am. I just send it all. I lose my big construct, Esper Sentinel, and Servo token. My opponent takes 4 this turn. No, that's not good for me. Although I could attack in with the 2 Ravagers. If they die, I get double triggers on this Thopter. Otherwise, it's free damage. Yeah, I like this. Just makes me worse against Swords to Plowshares effect. Alright, opponent is going for the blocks. I will modular onto my flyer, which gets 2 counters per set. You do not have the time to be sitting here. Like, you are very likely going to a game 3. You have 7 minutes on clock. You are down 6 minutes from where I am at. You do not have this time. Sure. Okay. Yep. Okay. The movement on my opponent's end. Alright, they're doing something. Sure. That draws me a card. Can get them the... Yep, that's fine. Yep, that's fine. Alright, I have no play here. I think that Knight of the Reliquary probably should have attacked on their turn. Sure. Cradle strong. Yep. Sure. Thank you, deck. Very cool. Sure. Yep. Yep. Sure. My only out is basically my opponent timing out. My draws have just been absolutely atrocious. Ancient Tomb, Hard Scales, Hardened Scales, when like a single mana just gets me to the win. Such is life, though. Yep. Now I'm at the point where this doesn't do enough. I can just draw a Walking Ballista and kill my opponent, I guess. Yep. Okay, I'm dead. I'll concede. That was incredibly frustrating and boring. Today's video is sponsored by PlayEDH. You can find them at playedh.com, which will link to their Discord server, which is the largest Discord server for finding Commander/EDH webcam games. And what's really neat about them is that they will give you personalized ratings of your deck so you can pair with appropriate players. In addition, on May 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be doing a discussion on their Discord about like similarities between Legacy and EDH and deck building in the two. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern on May 3rd, I'm going to be doing a stream with them so you can see me in action. So consider checking them out. Okay, what does this hand do? I'll probably keep it. Like, kind of whatever. Increase artifact count versus play around Wasteland. I think increase artifact count here. Upon a time. The elves? Simeon Spirit Guide. It's initiative. Sure. Probably red-green initiative. Oh. Hey. I always do this. I think I cast one of these. And have the option to move its counters onto the Ozolith if something goes wrong. It's possible, since that I have Shadow Spear coming in the not too distant future, I'm supposed to just not play that, but I don't really know what nonsense my opponent is up to. And given that information, I am going to just kind of chill. Chain Lightning target me, that's fine. I am at 13. I am at 10. Sure. I'll attack for 1. My opponent goes to 13. I can start gaining life as soon as next turn if I would like. Opponent's at 11. No attack. There's a Saga Construct token. It is notably a 4/4. Believe I just float mana here. Shadow Spear. Land drop. Yep, okay. Simeon Spirit Guide once upon a time? That's weird. I have 5 removal spells that I can think about, and Canonist is technically a playable Magic the Gathering card. I don't think I am in the market for Sylvan Library. That feels like those 2 cards pretty easily. These are fine. I'm currently thinking about Blood Moon and other similar permanents. Thing is, I'm not like super consistent at actually making white mana. Like, I don't think the Ozolith is very good in this matchup, but it is like a colorless artifact that I can cast that has synergy with other portions of my deck. I think I'm just going to keep my deck more colorless until I see more of what's going on my opponent's side of the battlefield. Yeah, I will fully keep this hand. It just naturally has Shadow Spear in it. I think I play that card as a surprise on turn 3 rather than play it out on turn 1. There's a Swift Spear. That's fine. Yeah, I think I play Hardened Scales into Hangerback Walker into Shadow Spear equip. Sure. I mean, that thing on turn 1 is worth a shit ton of damage. But I've just got to play the stuff that sets up my own damage potential. Yep. Am I taking 3 or 4 or what here? I'm just taking the 3. Cool. I'm not interested in that right now. It's just Savannah into a 2/2 Hangerback Walker, which will be blocking Eidolon if I am given the chance to do so, because then I just get evasive creatures. Alright, what are we working with over there? Roiling Vortex. So this is very good against me. Do I want to block? No. You may have that damage. I take 1 from Roiling Vortex. I'm always playing this. Is it better for me to play Ravager than to play Shadow Spear? Like, I can grow Hangerback Walker, back it with Ravager, have a billion chump blockers, and a very large creature. Shadow Spear nets me 1 life this turn, putting me to 11. I think the Ravager-based line might be better. I think the Ravager-based line saves me more life in combat. A little weird. I don't think I attack here. Alright, take your damage. Wonder if I have to worry about, like, Minsk and Boo happening next turn. Alright, so now we get to see my deck start doing its thing. I put a counter on Hangerback Walker, which is actually 2 counters. I think I sack this here and create a very large number of creatures. Alright, there we go. All of these can now attack. So 2, 4, 6, 8, and 14. So my opponent is dead if Archbound Ravager is unblocked. They'll probably leave back 1 extra token here. Ooh, I get to cast spells again. Very nice. Oh, wait, is my opponent dead for modular? So sack 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14. Yes, but a lightning bolt gets me. I think I would not like to put myself in that situation. Okay, so I get to cast spells again, which is... Oh, fuck. Ugh, I just punted this fucking game. Yeah. That's frustrating. Yep. Yep. Alright. I punted that one. I'm glad I didn't go all in, but I just needed to literally not do that, and I probably won. Probably. Not 100%, but probably. Sorry, I am still a little bit on tilt after my opponent slow playing so badly last round. Like, I'm probably not even going to end up putting that previous round in the video. It was so annoying. This is an unexciting hand. I have removal spell for an opposing creature, but I don't really have a game plan of my own. I think I'm going to ship this. This hand's very bad. Yeah, this hand has 2 disappearing lands. I can't really do anything. I'll go to 5. Easily the best hand so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 probably. Turn 1, Tree, Opal, Zabaz. Battlecraft is on Archbound Worker. I keep this and then just be an all-in Urza Saga hand. That's fine. Can I play Saga on 1 though? No. Yeah. 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 It is a Once Upon a Time. Finding a Swift Spear. And my opponent is just going to nuke one of my creatures. I'll move the counters over. Yeah. That is quite good for me. Opponent's at 18. I have some theoretical card draw in play. Urza Saga constructs are pretty big. Where's this going? It's going at Esper Sentinel. Yeah, sure. I mean, that functionally was a time walk for me. That gets me to the point where my Urza Saga is active. Note here that I still probably will lose to some crazy haymaker. GG's. Okay, my hand looks like a keep. I imagine I lead on Esper Sentinel and go from there. The only real question is, like, do I play out the Mox Opal on turn 1? Some reasons to, there's some reasons not to. Given that Esper Sentinel is making it less likely that something like Prismatic Ending attacks my Mox Opal, I think I go ahead and do that. Alright, are we just gonna get Reanimated? I'm losing game 1 to Reanimator 99% of the time. I just have no real interaction. Yep. My opponent is paying the tax. Are you just gonna Dark Ritual and go off anyway? No, you're going to Thoughtseize. That's fine. Alright. As expected. Caracas is not the worst draw in the world. But my hand is very weak. I'll drop a Hardened Scales that currently isn't doing anything. I don't even have Metalcraft on right now. Like, I'm in a bit of an embarrassing situation. We'll see. Maybe Esper Sentinel slows my opponent down enough that I can get some aggression going. I don't have a game 1 graveyard hate card, right? No. Feels like I'm about to eat End of Turn Entomb. I'm not a fan of. I'm going to hide my Caracas in my hand here, because my opponent doesn't know about it yet, under the hopes that they do just find a legendary creature. Alright. There's an Entomb. Alright, they allowed me to draw. Okay, that is a Grizzlebrand. There are timelines in which I can win this game now. Like, if my opponent reanimates Grizzlebrand, for example, I can just kill them. Alright, they're paying this time. You may Thoughtseize me. They get to see my Caracas, which is a thing. Is Animate Dead on Grizzlebrand. So they now need to draw 7 and find a way to make me discard Caracas, which probably means making an Archon. Ooh, they didn't. They're dead on board then. Activate Urza Saga. Ah, there's an Archon. Alright. Activate Urza Saga. My library for something. It doesn't really matter what here. Zabaz. Play Caracas. Play Archbound Ravager. That just makes my combat more lethal in case some absolute nonsense happens that I'm not expecting. Bounce Grizzlebrand. Yep. Alright, cool. We were very lucky to win that game. Very, very lucky. Leyline in. Fail in for discard. Cage in. Canonist is playable but very slow. Pithing Needle has marginal uses. Not interested in Sylvan Library here. I don't think I'm really interested in Once Upon a Time either. Like, the things that I'm looking for are essentially these. While Once Upon a Time can power up starting hands, I'm not the biggest potential fan of them. Welding Jar is not super strong here. It doesn't protect Leyline. It protects Grafdigger's Cage, but the scenarios where I have both Grafdigger's Cage and Welding Jar in play are rarer. I don't need 2 Ozoliths here. I'll pick up a Pithing Needle, and then it's just like, do I want to try to play these Canonists? They are mana intensive, since they are off color. I don't know that I play them when I'm on the draw, but again, it's not like some of these cards are great. Like, Welding Jar isn't particularly good. Retrofitter Foundry is not particularly good. I probably fully just don't need the Ozolith here. The idea is that I can win with a potato if I lock my opponent out. I'm gonna think about this for a second. This hand instantly loses to my opponent going off on turn 1 or to a discard spell. And I think since both of those things are true, I just mulligan that. The same is true of this hand, unfortunately. I will go to 5. Yes, 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 yes. This is uncastable. Second card here is harder. Opal gives me white. Opal's also just faster. I'm going to throw back Ancient Tomb. It's just super awkward because I'm getting super screwed by Serenity here. Yep. And this is why we didn't keep the first two hands. So I lost the Opal. I don't think I play Zabaz on turn 1. I'm going to play Grafdigger's Cage and assume that I am eating a 3-for-1 to Serenity. There's not a lot that I can do about it, but like taking this line makes me better against something that just answers one of these things. Yeah, this is great for me. Let's go in there. Sure. And a follow-up discard spell is another reason to play out the cage. That is uncastable. Alright. You have the Serenity. There's the fetch. Not white mana. Okay. I can't do anything, neither can they apparently, and they're not playing towards Serenity. Maybe they don't actually have it. Which is weird. Or did you just sandbag it for a turn cycle? Oh, sure. That's fine. My deck will have utterly failed me if I can't beat a single hardcast Grief. I'll take some damage from it, like, for sure. But any sort of, like, Walking Ballista, Archbound Ravager type card will very easily outscale a Grief. Or we can, brick off and die to a Grief. Yeah, that's fine. You 2-for-1 yourself to take a dead card from me. Fun! I'll eat 3 damage. Yeah. That is 4 dead draws in a row. I eat 3 damage. 5 dead draws in a row. Go to 8. 6 dead draws in a row. That is an unmasked targeting themselves. Alright. Sure. The target opponent thing. Yeah. And Veil of Summer here, I guess. I don't think I can win. Gun 2. I guess I can. No, I can't win from here. That was very frustrating. This is fine. Okay, what does this hand do? Plays a turn 2 Canonist. I don't think this is reasonable. This hand is reasonable. Throw back one of the copies of Mox Opal. Again, this game is just fully going to be like, does my opponent find a Serenity? Start with Leyline in play. Play Urza Saga. Play Mox Opal. Play Pithing Needle purely for artifact count. Name a fetch land here, I think. Okay. Loot away. Okay, just some sorted nonsense. Do I want to play Ancient Tomb out this turn instead of Tree of Tales? I don't think so. It doesn't actually change anything for me. Verdant Catacombs. Unmask me. And let's see if they have the Serenity. I lose to it if they have it. Oh, it is a Terror on Urza Saga instead. Sure. I mean, that keeps me from getting a Grafdigger's Cage, which certainly matters. I want to play this land, despite the fact that my opponent doesn't know about it. Alright. Okay, cool. I technically play this out first. Drop Esper Sentinel. That increases my damage output by 1. Opponent's at 10. They are on a 2-turn clock. I'm still in the same boat as before, where I'm just fully dead to Serenity and probably win the game if my opponent doesn't have that. Alright, it's made it back to my turn. Archbound Ravager. You say. Go ahead and attack on in. After no blocks, we're gonna do some stuff. Float some mana. Sacrifice a land. Sacrifice an opal. Sacrifice a pithing needle. Sacrifice a Ravager to its own ability. Modular. Onto. Oh, fuck. That didn't actually change my damage output. That was fucking dumb. Yeah, I could have increased my damage output by 1 by sacking the Ravager. That was just bad. Alright, Grief. Grief resolves. Big zoom. Solid. Bring back an Archbound Ravager. Alright, poorly played on my end, but GG's. So I have reasonable amounts of mana and a mix of lands and spells, but I have no real plan here. Like I have Ozolith Hardened Scales, but no ability to put counters on anything. Uh, Fuck it. Let's do it. Since this hand can just make Esper Sentinel on turn 1, I think I keep it. Alright, so I go 3 Opal, Fear, Esper Sentinel. I think to play around discard effects, I go deeper here. Second Opal, green mana, Scales. And next turn, if my opponent doesn't do anything, I just equip Esper Sentinel with Shadow Spear, and I have a 2 power tax since this does scale up. Alright. Oh, probably playing against an initiative deck. We are gonna pay the Esper Sentinel tax. Urza Saga. Don't mind if I do. Yeah. Yeah. Put some pants on Esper Sentinel. And bash on in there. The damage that I'm representing with the Esper Sentinel isn't that good, but the damage that I'm representing with Urza Saga is really strong. And maybe I can end up doing some cute Hardened Scales, Ozolith, counter nonsense later on. Yep, fully confirmed initiative. Opponent has to lightning bolt themselves here. These lands very much are not free, but they're quite strong since they can be imprinted under Chrome Mox. Yeah, that was the card that I was most afraid of, because they are going to name Urza's Saga with this. And now I can't activate this unless I top deck a soul land. I did not do. I will go ahead and play out a library here. My Esper Sentinel tax is probably not super relevant for the rest of this game. Not to say that it can't do anything, but it is unlikely to matter a lot. Also, apologies if we get some mowing noise. It doesn't seem like it's innately being picked up by my mic, but it might be when I'm talking. I can't really tell. Okay. The mower has kicked off. I'm going to go ahead and put Zabaz back because I think I'm going to tutor for that. I'm going to pay life for one of the others. Go ahead and activate Urza Saga. Do some searching. Find a Zabaz. 2 mana. Fire up a Hangerback Walker. And Zabaz also does have an ability that lets you destroy an artifact you control, which may end up being relevant here. Alright, it's in play. I'm just gonna chill. I kind of think my opponent has a removal spell of some kind, just based on the pauses that they have had. That is a Solitude, pitching a Seasoned Dungeoneer. Oh, Solitude targets Esper Sentinel. Sure. Touch the Spirit Realm. Quite good. And that is a channel, not a cast. Oh, I see. They're going to have that come back on their end step. Based on the timing that they did that with. Which may actually cost them an attack. Could double block. Be a little weird too, I think. I just take that hit. House on 0 is respectable, although it's a little late. House on 1, same. We'll see which direction they go with this. Alright, they target Hangerback Walker. So I'm going to go ahead and destroy target artifact that I control. Nuke my Hangerback Walker. I get to put the counters on the Ozolith. Create a couple of Thopters. Sylvan Library stuff starts to happen. 1/2 mana right now. Sylvan Library is not happening. I don't think I need to draw Hangerback Walker this turn. I'll just make a land drop. Yeah. I just want to equip. I think I just want to equip this turn. Equip that there. All counters. Move into Zabaz. Yes, that is a 6/6 Turn it into a flyer. Yeah. Now we're fucking cooking with gasoline. My opponent goes to 7. They are effectively at 10 life due to Solitude. Okay. I take 6. That's fine. Alright. Looking for a mana source here off Sylvan Library. I did not find it. Pop that. Pop that. So yeah. Yeah. Hangerback for X is 1. Red mana. Destroy an artifact I control. Put some counters on the Ozolith. Go to combat. Throw counters over here. Yes. This is cool. My opponent now knows, like, what bullshit I'm up to, so life is gonna get a little harder for me, but I'm glad we got to do that. I like Swords to Plowshares here. I don't like most of the rest of my sideboard cards. Prismatic Ending is technically playable, but I have a lot of colorless sources, so Prismatic Ending out of this deck isn't as good as Prismatic Ending out of, say, a Jeskai Control deck list. I think Sylvan Library is the worst card in my deck here. I didn't take that much damage that game, but that is very much not going to be the norm. My opponent kind of stalled out. They never even gotten an initiative card into play. I think I'm going to try this without boarding in Prismatic Ending. I'm not overly impressed by this hand. If Once Upon a Time whiffs on finding me a good land, this hand just does nothing. Even if I find the land, it's just an Urza Saga hand that's very replaceable. I'm gonna keep it. Not happy with it. I'm debating throwing back Savannah or Welding Jar. I guess I need to keep Savannah for swords. Throw back Welding Jar. This has more gas than it looks like because of Once Upon a Time, and this is an incredibly strong Urza Saga hand. Alright, we're going to my turn. Cast Once Upon a Time. Found Worker? No, I'll take Esper Sentinel here. In order to cast that, I have to play Savannah this turn, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But playing Esper Sentinel this turn is super, super important, so that I can Swords to Plowshares an initiative creature on my opponent's turn, and then take the initiative with Esper Sentinel. And if I take the initiative with Esper Sentinel, cool shit happens. Because I can forge up Esper Sentinel to increase the tax. Basically, big fan. Alright, cool. There's a Chromux. Do I get a card? I do get a card. And this is what I was talking about before, with these lands being absolutely great under a Chromux. Lauren of the Third Path. Absolutely. I probably just Swords to Plowshares that pretty much immediately, so that Caracas can't bring it back. Such a punish if they have a Caracas. Alright. Esper Sentinel. Tree. Sorcery Speed, remove Lauren. I just am totally unwilling to take the risk that they have Caracas. It's, like, not great for me if they just go land Seasoned Dungeoneer. Like, that is objectively quite bad for me. Okay, that's very good for my opponent. I imagine they're naming Urza Saga. Named Archbound Ravager. Which is annoying since I drew a second Archbound Ravager. But I am still in the situation where I can cast one. It's just that the sacrifice ability costs too much mana to realistically use now. Anointed Peacekeeper being able to hit activated abilities is really strong. I don't think I take a block here. I'll just take the damage. My opponent says they sequence their turn wrong. Okay. Ooh, I got a card. That Late Spellbinder, sure. Oh, yeah. So they miss the with the Explorer trigger for Seasoned Dungeoneer there. Okay. So this mana is for Urza Saga. Archbound Ravager doesn't really get to block anymore. Super inconvenient for me. I have to remember this costs 4, so I'm not actually playing this turn, which means Tree of Tales is fine as my land drop. Go ahead and do this. Got an Urza Saga activation. I have no good attacks. I have a very large Urza Saga token coming, though. Which will matter because I'm about to get a Shadow Spear. I have a 5/5 or so token. Or sorry. I have a 5/5 or so Anointed Peacekeeper that is going to be coming in at me. They find a Cavern of Souls, which is fine. I have to worry about like a Solitude or Swords to Plowshares here. Yep. So, make an idiot. 7/7. It's massive. I will go ahead and activate Urza Saga again. Yeah, it's just very clearly Shadow Spear. I go ahead and play out another Esper Sentinel here. And take the 2. Going to 10 to equip this. Alright, it is equipped. I will attempt to bash in. Alright, that is a Solitude. That will gain me 11 life. I'm back up to 21. I'm not in any immediate danger of dying. I can re-equip Shadow Spear to the other construct next turn. Oh, while also playing Archbound Ravager. Oh, my opponent goaded an Esper Sentinel. Sure. That's fine. Touch the Spirit Realm. That's pretty legit. Obviously no blockers. Protection from creatures is really good. Ooh, Trailblazer's Torch. They're going to get to go to Archives to draw a card. Oh. I think that was a misstep. So they can now go diagonal to Archives to draw Fuck you! No! No! Oh, that's some shit. Because they can Solitude with Touch the Spirit Realm here and just exile my token. Oh, that's so annoying. I think I'm dead to that. I can alpha everything, take the initiative so I don't get Throne of the Dead 3'd immediately, but I can't hold it through Seasoned Dungeoneer. I mean, I guess show me that you understand how your cards work. Alright. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm well, I guess I'll not concede. I'll see what my opponent hits off the Throne of the Dead 3. It costs me basically nothing to stay in this game for another turn cycle. There's a second copy of Lauren. Yep. Alright. I'm comfortable conceding here. That's fine. I don't think I'm gonna make any changes here. Like I can technically do this to stop Throne of the Dead 3, but I'm hoping the game is more or less decided before we get to that point. Okay, what does this hand do? Ancient Tomb, Worker, Zabaz, Opal into a 2-power Walking Ballista. It's not that strong. I also don't know that it's really worth mulliganing. Like, if my opponent is just starting out on some sort of hate bear plan, or a plan that has them playing a single initiative creature, and I can contest the initiative pretty well, like, this is fine. Alright. Tomb, Opal, Worker, Zabaz, Ass. I technically can blow up my Archbound Worker if I would like to scale up Zabaz immediately, but I think Metalcraft is much more valuable in the short term. It begins. Spellbinder under there. Yep. That presumably is just going to make my Walking Ballista worse. Yep, prediction correct. Hardened Scales. That can start to do some neat stuff. Let's go ahead and play that out. I think I just passed the turn, leave myself the option to blow up Archbound Worker. Yeah, and I think my Mox Opal is kind of valuable right now. Ooh. Well, I guess we have to do this. I'll have Zabaz destroy itself and move my counters over here. I wanted this to be the other way because then Zabaz lines up more favorably in combat versus that. I'm just going to keep this around. I want another artifact for Metalcraft. And I also want to move its counters onto something else at some point. This is not currently online. This is a 4-mana Walking Ballista for 1, which is actually a Walking Ballista for 2. I'm comfortable attacking in because I would now move my counters to Walking Ballista. Alright, my opponent eats the damage. We're at a pretty similar place in terms of clock. Sorry, like clock as in damage back and forth, but my opponent dropping a Seasoned Dungeoneer, for example, would vastly change that. So they've got their land drop now. Oh, that is an unwelcome surprise. Stoneforge is very much not guaranteed to be in these decks any. Oh no, it's another Seasoned Dungeoneer on top too. I'm screwed, folks. I'm at 9. Okay. Take some looks. None of this gets me out of this situation. I am comfortable conceding here. GG's. Okay, I don't think this hand has enough mana to get things going here. Okay. Keep that, pitching the redundant copy of the legendary Ozolith. I need Once Upon a Time to hit a mana source here, but I'm not going to cast it until my own turn, because if I just draw something like a Savannah, my evaluation of what I need to get with this changes a lot. Let's go ahead and cast this. That's fine. I have a very large number of draws that get me out of that situation, but I don't want to play my land drop first to play around Days, because if I find white mana, I want to play one of these 2 cards out. Levy. Like, you could make an argument that when my opponent fetches with the Misty Rainforest, I'm supposed to Once Upon a Time there to better play around Days, but Misty Rainforest doesn't always indicate Days. It's just a blue fetch land. Alright. I am under the gun while I have an Ancient Tomb and am not quite established. That's pretty bad for me, but any colored land or any artifact card lets me kind of start things off. So this isn't exactly an impressive play by Legacy standards. And now it's like, which one of these do I want to play? I think it's Esper Sentinel, because Esper Sentinel is an artifact and is better at keeping my Mox Opal count on, because I very much need this mana. Then next turn I can play Hardened Scales before ticking up Hangerback Walker and trying to do something cool with it. You eventually need a way to sacrifice Hangerback Walker to get things I can trade with Dragon Rage Channeler in combat. But yeah, like, it's turn 3 and I'm at 10. Not really an okay place to be. Another Esper Sentinel. Why did you let me untap with Hangerback Walker? I mean, Surveil. Now I can just add another counter to this. Is that worth 2 life? Because I would also like to cast Esper Sentinel. Literally a turn off the clock, but I'm about to make a bunch of chump blockers. I think this is worth tapping this. It also does Ozolith stuff. So those die. 2 counters go on the Ozolith. I make 2 chump blockers. Does the Ozolith move it to anything? Yes, it moves it to anything. If I play Hardened Scales instead of second Esper Sentinel, I can immediately turn this into a 4/4, and then it never gets lightning bolted. I think I just want a second Esper Sentinel, though. Cards are so good for me right now. Oh, okay, there's a Force of Will. My opponent said something to me in chat, and I'm just trying to figure out what they meant. Alright, put that on Esper Sentinel. Yes. Okay, yeah. So my opponent thought Hangerback Walker was Walking Ballista, So that's why their line seemed weird. They just... When you see an XX card in Legacy, it's usually Walking Ballista. Well, a creature, right? Because there's also Chalice of the Void. I am just going to be chump blocking here. I wonder if I was supposed to move my counters to a Thopter. Never mind, I will have that chance on my own turn. So now the tax is 3, so I'm drawing a card. Hardened Scales. Ooh, I have a slight problem. I'm about to... Oh no, I'm not about to lose Metalcraft. It's okay. I do not have red to redirect. Alright. Ozolith is doing Ozolith stuff, and I am in love with it. Oh my god, Shadow Spear is really fucking good here. Shadow Spear. Equip, going to 6. Ozolith tokens over here. Have a 4/4 flying Trampler. I need to dodge a Murktide Regent. Ooh. Please don't wasteland me into Murktide. It would be so savage. I would be so sad. Alright. We've at least made it to the second main phase here. Hell yeah. Make a land drop. This is netting me 1 life per turn cycle. I can hang back and try to take out the Dragon Rage Channeler. But I think I want to try to remain the beatdown here. Like, my life total is going up. My opponent's life total is going down. It's perfectly fine for me. And I've already dodged them having Murktide Regent. Oh, there's some sort of banging going on upstairs. I'm about 2 days from fully moving into my new house and not having to deal with that immediate of neighbors anymore. Delver is fine. Probably play out a Sylvan Library this turn rather than a Hardened Scales. Just make sure my draw next turn is good. I'm also supposed to play this Sylvan Library or no, again, I have 4 artifacts, not 3. Alright. Opponent goes to 3. I drop a Sylvan Library. I need to dodge Murktide Regent for another turn cycle. Like my opponent has a Lightning Bolt. They tapped and untapped their Volcanic Island for red mana. If they wait, they have the possibility of double bolting a Thopter. Okay, I got there. I'm not sure if I piloted that one correctly. Like, it's very possible I am supposed to take a turn off to let them attack with Dragon Rage Channeler and have it die in combat. But, like, I don't want to give my opponent time to find Murktide Regent, because Murktide Regent just handily beats me. I have 5 removal spells that I can think about, and I have Leyline of the Voids that I can think about. I do not like Sylvan Library here. I've cut this most of my rounds. Definitely don't want to cut the Ozolith here. I think shuffling counters around is really strong. As of right now, this is giving me 2 Swords to Plowshares. I'm probably supposed to play Prismatic Endings as well. Kinda sucks because my mana base isn't super stable for casting my removal spells super consistently. Not really sure what I'm supposed to cut from here if I am supposed to play Prismatic Ending. Like, I imagine I am. Welding Jar is medium. Like, I don't know. It can save a counter, something with a lot of +1/+1 counters from a Meltdown. Maybe that's enough. I could just get rid of the not legacy playable Archbound Workers. I probably have better things to find rather than Retrofitter Foundry. I don't think I have room for boarding in ley lines given how much trouble I'm having. It's also possible that I could just cut Once Upon a Time. I am going to keep this. I will just cast a Once Upon a Time in my opponent's upkeep now that I know for certain that I am playing against Delver. And I always know that I'm looking for threats given that I have 3.5 lands in hand already. Let's cast this and find a threat. Well, those are cards. Take an Urza Saga. I have too many land drops now, but I think I'm okay with that. It is a Delver. I think this is a turn 2 Urza Saga sort of hand. Let's attempt a Hardened Scales. I don't think I play Mox Opal now. Don't have a reason to expose another card to a Meltdown on turn 2. I don't know that my opponent would take Meltdown quite that quickly, but the thing to think about. Days. Sure. I'll take 3. Welding Jar. I think I play Mox Opal now. Welding Jar now. That turns on Mox Opal. Bell Pierce, absolutely. Not pay for that. I play Urza Saga now. Metalcraft isn't on. But I'm not really casting this Hangerback Walker if I don't cast it right now. Right? Actually, no, that's not quite true. Next turn I could play Ancient Tomb, take 2, Saga. Cast it. It's still dazeable then. Like, I'll force a land back to your hand. Just makes cantrips worse. Weird things can happen regarding my land sequencing and Meltdown. Pick the 3 from the Delver. And another Delver. Scary. Automatic Ending's really good. Turn is incredibly complicated to play because of the presence of Meltdown in my opponent's deck list. I think I play Savannah, activate. That gives me Metalcraft. And then I play a dazeable Prismatic Ending. But if I do that, the construct is a 3/3 and is lightning boltable. If I do this one, I can play around Daze, and if I do this one, I play around Lightning Bolt. Am I realistically just going to lose to Meltdown anyway? The answer is yes, I should just play Tree of Tales. The answer is probably yes. Urza Saga is really all that I have going on. And tapping this Ancient Tomb a bunch of times is not super ideal. Let's ending a Delver. Pass the turn. I'm so fucking scared of Meltdown. And I probably have to deal with about 2 of them. Maybe 3, but probably 2. My opponent has cast no cantrips this game. Had creatures and counterspells. Alright, no Delver attack. Try to do cool things. I've unfortunately already used my Welding Jar. Otherwise would probably be something that I would be interested in tutoring up. Do this again. Nothing that I can get here helps me against Meltdown. Get a 2/2 Zabaz. I guess Ozolith, in theory, helps against a Meltdown later on. I'm going to play Walking Ballista around Days here. This is really a Walking Ballista for 2. No, Ozolith gets destroyed by the Meltdown as well. That was fucking stupid. Oh, this is good enough for a Force of Will. Pitching Murktide Regent. Attacking for 6. So we're just playing the, like, is it Meltdown game. And I hate this game. It sucks. Delver reveal Meltdown. Delver reveal Lightning Bolt. That's fine. Is Delver on blocking duty? Delver's on blocking duty. Fantastic. I can play a Zabaz and have it do additional damage this turn. But I think I just win this game if my opponent doesn't have Meltdown. So I don't think I play this here. I think I leave this as something that I can cast off of Savannah if I need to. I guess it would be 3 additional damage. Fine. Although I guess this means that this is lightning boltable. But I'm still going to just hold back. That's okay. Again, I think hedging against Meltdown happening is more important than anything else that's possible here. This is already just a lethal threat on its own next turn. Okay. That was an uphill fight, but we ended up with a positive record. Alright, that's it. We hit the end of the league. That was a slog, I'm not gonna lie to you. Overall thoughts on the deck list. This seems like the sort of thing that I would love to build into, like, an EDH deck. Like, this whole, like, Hardened Scales, Ozolith thing is super cute, and it can grind a lot of value if you can kind of bounce the counters around and keep things going. But I just didn't super feel like I was playing Legacy today in a lot of rounds. Like, I felt like I was just sitting here with 0 agency or close to it, and just hoping my opponent didn't draw their good cards. And when that happened, cool. And then there were so many other times where I just didn't really have any manipulation or effective card draw, and I just kind of bottomed out. Like, I like the things that are going on here conceptually. I just don't think they're powerful enough. Kind of glancing at the card pool, it seems like a lot of this might be legal in something like Modern, and you can probably mess around with it there, maybe to greater success. So, love the deck building theory. I just don't think the power level is there. And again, as I've said a couple of times recently, if you're playing an Artifact Hate, you get so much splash damage from 8 cast being so good in the format that it just feels bad. Like, you're playing this cute thing that people don't quite understand, but knowing that Meltdown or Serenity or Energy Field or sorry, Energy Flux or whatever is going to be good against you, that doesn't take a genius to figure out. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button. It helps out a lot. I hope you have a great rest of the day. See ya!